Okay, the first of the solo quests is on the waterfront, just south of the class trainers, and you get it by speaking to Burn Jorn here. And what he wants you to do is head into this crypt and kill the spiders without destroying the sarcophagi. What these quests seem to be doing is teaching you a few mechanics that haven't been passed on by the core source quests. In this case, not destroying everything we see in sight, which is quite an alien behaviour for the average D&D adventure. The main challenge you've got here is little spiders. They've got quite a high reflex save, so my spell here isn't actually going to do much to them. And I've got to be careful not to hit the sarcophagi as I fire at spiders. I also have an absolutely lousy 2-hit rate. I've swapped in a crossbow because wizards can use them without too much hassle. The other thing I can do is I have this falcon, which I wouldn't normally be able to use, but there's a spell called Master's Touch, which gives you proficiency with any martial weapon and shield that you're holding at the time when you cast it, and that lasts until you zone out of the level. So armed with that and the Master's Touch spell, killing the spiders is an easy piece of work. And I'm just going to wander around, kill the spiders. Now, as you get to higher levels with the wizard, this stops being a viable tactic, but certainly at these levels it's a nice cheap way of getting through the quests. Once you've killed all the spiders and pulled 2 levers, this opens the door to the Spider Queen, who is quite tough. She's a boss, and you just have to defeat her. I'm missing a lot here. There, 15 points, that's quite nice.
You hear a massive body moving about with 8 spindly legs.
She closes in with a swap to the sword.
The spider's lifeless body crunches.
And that's the first of the 4 solo quests completed. There's no extra loot in here, unfortunately. And when we accept there's this collectible thing. And when we collect out, our only reward from Beringe is going to be some gold. Not Beringe, Burn. Beringe is the next of the quest givers we're going to speak to. So yes, Born gives us some gold. Not much gold, but it's something. So the next of the quests is up these stairs. And we want to speak to Berrigan Enge here. Okay, what this quest shows you is alternate routes through a quest as suited to different skill sets. I'll explain where it changes in a moment when we get there. Just setting up my skills.
You have searched every area within the miller's home, save the basement.
Down here, down this little ramp. Now when we get to this spot, we can either go left and fight some metal dogs, or right and get torn apart by force traps. If we're a rogue, the force traps would probably be a good option to go for, because it saves us fighting 2 things. But we're going to go this way and meet the dogs. Like practically everything else, they seem to have a decent reflex save, so my spell once again is only randomly useful. They also have an annoying ability, Grease, which makes you slide around and can cause you to slip over if you fail a balance check. I'm just going to show you the trap without setting it off. So you can see that basically the trap would be here. And that's quite vicious at our level. And the problem is that what you'd end up doing is jumping over these crates, landing in one, and then being hit by this one as you come out. And as with all of these all of these mini quests, there are no shrines in them, so it would leave you quite weak for the final encounter. Here we have an iron defender. Sorry, the other two dogs. Now these dogs are compulsory whichever route you take. There's 3 knockdowns effects coming in. That's my spell actually hitting for one. So once we've come here, that's the NPC we're looking for.
The basement floor. The miller has told you the goods meant for the coin lords are in the back room of the basement.
But dun dun dun, it's a trap.
Defender charges forward.
We have a boss Iron Guardian to deal with. Now, there's some abilities that player characters can get where they can get these things as pets. I don't know how much use they are, but they're soon coming out with an artificer class that I think gets to make them as an innate class ability, which sounds quite cool if you ask me. Now, this quest, unlike the previous one, actually has proper loot in it. So here we are. We've got a mace, a potion of resist fire, and some gems. Not too bad. And there's the quest item, and that's us done here.
Time to return them to Berrigan-Enge.
Once again, the only reward we get from him is gold. Now, up these stairs is a quest that's not strictly a solo quest, as it can be run with a full party and at a variety of difficulties, but it's quite good for starting characters because it gives you 2 chests and it's not very difficult. So we just agree to look after their warder, go into the quest. Now I've done it before, so I've got the option of opening it on hard, but we're just going to do it on normal. And because there's quite a few monsters in here, we're actually going to use the Hireling I picked up earlier. And move their bar out of the way. We're both going to buff. I'm going to get the Hireling to buff me. I'm going to buff myself with shield and obviously set up this spell again to get rid of my penalty. Nice simple quest. Kill all the scorpions.
The floor sets your nerves on edge.
Now if they don't make their save, this spell is really good. But scorpions are annoying as a monster because they do this sort of duck behind the ground thing and then pop up when you're not expecting them. And this quest spawns a boss scorpion who's not actually one of the objective scorpions. This NPC Hireling is being unusually helpful. A lot of times they just kind of sit there and you wonder why as they aren't healing you. But they are about the only way for non-clerics to go in solo quests. Oh, he killed the last scorpion for me. That was really helpful. So as I said, this quest has 2 chests. The first one is here from killing Blacktail. Just some gold and the weapon we're going to sell on. But when you speak to Havadathsha, he drops another chest for you. Yep, there you go, nothing particularly special. But, you know, nothing to be sneezed at. And once again, he just gives you a little bit of gold. The The next of the solo quests is from this guy, Silver Sharpwood. And what he wants you to do is go in here and defeat a bunch of thieves. The trick with this quest, what it's trying to show you, is that sometimes you can use the environment against the enemy. In this case, each of the rogues that we're here to kill are standing by an explosive barrel, so you can target them using the barrels using the Q key, then shoot them and the rogue takes damage, sometimes killing them outright, but not always. Now with the boss here, we can just sort of stand here for a while, and it takes them a little while for it to notice us if we're lucky.
We sent you to take us down all by your lonesome. I'd like to see you try.
And again, there is loot here. The last of these solo quests is all the way back round here, sort of over the back of the bridge, past the auction house and everything. Wander around, past the thief crafting area. Thieves can start crafting at level 4. And we speak to this kobold here called Scrag. And all Scrag wants you to do is get some dogs out of his sewer without fighting them. The point of this quest is to introduce the idea of escorting NPCs from place to place, and again not attacking things.
Ribs show through its skin, the result of mistreatment by its masters.
The way to do this is you just run around, get all the dogs on your tail, and then head back to the exit. If you want to get the optional for breaking the barrels, what you do is get all the dogs but one to follow you. And then do the barrel breakers, but we're not going to do that, we're just going to go straight for complete. Okay, it's the last of the dogs. The one thing you have to worry about here is make sure you don't get boxed in by the dogs, because there is blocking in the game, as you know from Corsair. You can't just run through enemies. So as we approach here, as you approach the exit, the dogs just sort of pop out of existence, and then we've completed the quest. And Scrag gives us his gratitude after I've shot him, and a little bit of gold. Though we aren't going to do it yet, there's one important quest to pick up and do in the harbour, and that's from Guard Jung up here. And his quest is a preliminary quest to a chain called Waterworks, which is a 4-part chain, quite good for XP for the level. And the reason you want, well, you can do Waterworks without doing Jung's quest first. The reason you want to do Jung's quest is because it gives you 2 dips on the reward tree, one from the actual quest givers and one from the harbour master. Whereas if you haven't done Jung's quest, the harbour master won't give you a second reward. You just pick up his quest and that's it. The door to it is through there. It's a pretty simple quest. And that's us done with the harbour for now. So our next video will take us into the marketplace and the house ward areas.